Like most hip hop heads, I'm a huge KRS One Boogie Down Productions fan. I want to tell y'all about 4 occasions that I've crossed paths with KRS One. I'm gonna leave the best one for last, so check it out. None of these stories are in chronological order, but here it goes. The first time I remember was the Arsonists, my group, the Arsonists. We had a float in the Puerto Rican Day Parade in the late 90s. A few other hip hop artists had their own floats as well. I remember Tony Touch, Fat Joe, I think Hot 97. There was a bunch of different floats going on. And KRS One was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. At the end of the parade, a news reporter approached him and asked him for his feedback. And he started running down on the things he saw. And he was like, yeah, and Tony Touch was there, and Fat Joe, and the Arsonists were killing it. As soon as we heard that shit, son, we were like, it was so hype. Another time I crossed paths with KRS One, there was this hip hop magazine in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, called Subculture Magazine. And they asked if I'd be interested in interviewing KRS One for the magazine. Of course, son. I remember just getting to their office, in walks KRS, we sat down, I had my little recorder or whatever it was, and I'm asking him all of these questions. At that point, my questions didn't even matter. I was just hyped to be able to have a face-to-face conversation with one of those people that I considered one of the greatest MCs of all time. When you say the Mount Rushmore of the golden era, for me, it's Rakim, KRS, Kane, and Kool G Rap. So I was hype on that. I got to interview him. It came out in the magazine. I still have the tape of the interview between myself and KRS. I got to get myself one of them little tape recorders to make MP3s and all that. The next one is kind of crazy as well. Again, back to the Arsonists. We got booked to open up for KRS One in Vermont. I think it was like around 1999, 2000. If you've ever seen an Arsonist show, you know what kind of energy we brought to the stage. After we finished our set and we started to walk off, boom. First person we see, KRS One, and he's clapping like this. And he's going, that's how it gets done. That's how you do hip hop. Son, we were tripping so crazily. It was like an out-of-body experience. I know for some people, like, you trip out, oh, he's just another person like you. I feel that. I get it. But as an artist, when you get co-signed by somebody that you look up to, whether it's in rock, rap, I don't care what genre it is, as an artist, you geek out because these are the people that inspired you in some way, shape, or form to do what you do. The final story I got is pretty funny. When KRS dropped his second album, By All Means Necessary, he was booked to do a show in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. When I got the flyer, the age restriction was like 21 and over or something like that. I was way too young to go to the show, and I was really bummed out. I showed my mother the flyer, and I told her like how I was bummed out. I really wanted to go, and she knew I was a fan. I always had that special connection with my mom. I'd be able to play like Kane records and Bismarck records and all of that, and just build with her about hip hop, even though she probably didn't really know what the hell I was talking about, but she would just sit there like the awesome person that she is and just engage with me in these conversations that in her mind, she's like, to her, it didn't matter, but she was happy that I was happy. So she felt bad that I couldn't go to the KRS One show, but she came up with a plan. My mother is an artist. She could paint, she could draw, she could sculpt. She's one of those type of artists. My mom comes up with this crazy idea. She made me a fake ID. She gets a thick piece of cardstock paper. She puts the border around it, my name, date of birth. She came up with some like fictitious job in the neighborhood or whatever. Then went to the corner pharmacy, had them laminate the card and all of that. And to me, as a kid, it looked legit. Like I was hype. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get to see this concert. I go to the venue, and as soon as I get there, the first person I see is, boom, Africa Baby Band from the Jungle Brothers, and I start tripping. I give him a pound. I'm like, Jungle Brothers. And he's like, what's up, what's up? And he kept it moving. Then I get online. And as I'm online, my nerves start to kick in because I'm like, at that time, I was young. I look like the Karate Kid, man. I look crazy for a dude that wanted to go into a hip hop club. Everybody online looked the right age. I looked like a child on that line. And I went to the club by myself. So here I am, I'm underage. I got this fake ID that my mother made. And I want to get in to see KRS. So they're going in slowly and slowly. Finally, it's my turn, and I'm scared. The bouncer looks crazy. He looks like a character from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. He's huge. Give him the ID. I kind of like put my head down, try not to make eye contact with him. He looks at the ID. He's already got the attitude. He's looking at it. He looks at me. He looks at it again. I could tell he knew what was up. He just like shrugged his shoulders. He's like smiling, like whatever. Gives me the ID, pats me down, lets me in. I pay the fee. I get in, and I'm hyped. I rush. I go straight to the front of the stage, and I plant myself dead center, front stage, and I stand there for like 2 hours straight, waiting for KRS One to take stage. Finally, Boogie Down Productions takes the stage. It's Miss Melody, D Nice, Manager Mo, and of course, KRS One. I had my little like disposable camera at that time, so I'm taking pictures. I got some of the pictures. The whole room was packed and everybody was hype. Everything he was doing, from Criminal Minded to By All Means Necessary, everybody was just hype. At the end of the set, he had like this stack of flyers and he signed them and he starts throwing them out to the audience. And one of them he threw, and it kind of like, it did like a loop and it fell like right in front of me. I snatched it. I still have it. That moment was the icing for me of being a fan. If you know what it is to be a fan and to be able to go see an artist perform, it's an experience. That's my stories about KRS One for now. Thank you for letting me share this with y'all. Stay tuned for the next I Got a Story to Tell. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.